and users is for that users that we are going to log in and register. So for now, what I'll do is I'll delete the users. I'll delete it. So there are no users here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is that in the Firebase manager, we are going to register a user inside user and then add all of the JSON values. So let's just try it out. I'll add the test number. I'll request the OTP. OTP will send. Use without an account. No thanks. Right. So it's very fine. And once the verification is done, ID send, and I'll be getting one ID token. Now I can pass the OTP 123456, that is the default OTP, and hit submit. So now let's see if everything works or not. So we are getting one error saying that field document ID supported, types are string. So the problem was inside this where part. I was passing it as a map, but I have to pass it like the key and is equals to and then phone number like that. So that was the problem. Now I'll submit again. So tell a bit about yourself. It is asking for the first name and the last name. So first things first, what I'll do is I'll change the US. So if I say close, nothing will happen. Name is mandatory for the authentication, right? So this button that we have submit, I'll just go to the onboarding page, and here that we have the bottom container, submit on submit. Yeah, so this elevated button that we have, I'm just going to take this elevated button, right? Green gradient. So I'm going to copy this, submit here, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so what it does is that it will import the green gradient, and on pressed we already have, and that would be it. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to return elevated button, and I'm going to paste this thing, say submit, submit, tell a bit about yourself, right? And now, right now the bottom sheet is not like covering on top of it. Bottom mdof dot view insects dot bottom, right? So now we can see it to be above the keyboard that we have. Okay, cool. So here I'll enter the name, Yesh Makan. Till now you can see that our user is not made, is not registered yet. In the users you can see that this is just a dummy entry that I did, right? And if now I click submit, what will happen is that it will give us the names, and then that name, if it is not equals to null, we'll create a user, we'll register that user, we'll set user in local DB and navigate to the root screen. So if I click submit, I'll be navigated to the root screen, and hopefully you can see that all of my data is updated inside the user's Firestore as well. So we are good to go here. Also, my data is stored in the local DB. So that means that this Yeshmakan and view profile and this image, all of that data we can get from the local DB, or we can get it from our Firestore as well, whatever we are going to store. So that makes sense. Now what I'm going to do here is, let's just go and inside every user we'll have collection, for chats, right? So every user will have chats, right? So, and those chats are nothing but it will contain the user IDs and some other basic information, so that we'll get all these users or chats for our homepage. So let's just do that right now. So first you can see, like, on clicking contact, so it is for the call. On clicking add contact, it is asking for the contact. Okay, next thing what we can do, so here contacts will come and based on that we can chat with them, but first let's just focus on our home page. So here inside the home screen, or if I go in the uh, root page, you can see that what we are doing here is we have our phone page, and this one all items we have SMS, and we have user, and on tapping we'll be navigating to separate screens accordingly, right? So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to go to the home page, and here basically we have these variables. So like you can see, provider I am made for the auth provider. Similarly, we have one provider for our chat, message, and user profile and audio. So I'll create one for home provider, right? So home page provider or home provider makes sense. So class home provider, which will like extends the change notifier, right? So now here what I'm going to do is that all these variables that I have added, now they won't be a part of it inside here. So I'm going to take it out and add them here and use it as here. Perfect, makes sense, right? Now inside the home page we have like tons of errors here that we are going to see. First things first, what we are going to do is that inside the init state, the intel package hhm dot, and I'll pass this, right? And it will return a date format with this format. So everything like makes sense to me, and let's just see like what happens. So I'm going to restart it now.
So here we have fetch charts and fetch status, and in the init state we are calling these methods, right? But actually this is not the correct way to do this, because we are fetching the charts only when the screen is opening, right? So that is not like proper way to do this. We have to use streams for this. So instead of doing here fetch charts and fetch stream list, what I'll do is I'll comment these, and where we have our charts used, right? So also I'll go in the provider and home provider, and I'll comment the charts as well. So now I'll be getting lots of errors saying that we don't have access to charts. So in the home page you can see like I am getting error. So we are getting error here, provider.charts, right? So 7 errors we are getting, and here are the errors. So what we are going to do is that we are going to wrap this list view separated with stream builder. Okay, and here what we are going to do is that we are going to pass a stream, and we are going to create a builder. So builder will return context or async snapshot data, and that would be it. Then based on the data, if data dot connection state is equals to connection state dot done. So if connection state is done, then we will be returning this, right? And I will create a list of chats of chat model that we have is equals to data dot data. Makes sense? Also I'll do data dot data not equals to null, and this I'll name it as chats. All right, so here we are getting provider.charts. Now we will not be using the provider here. Okay, and yeah, here also we are getting these errors. I'll solve that, and I'll remove provider from every place. Okay, makes sense. And here we are using remove chart at index. Currently I'll just comment this part, and the home provider also, let's comment this part, right? So in the home provider now we are getting this error like data to data. So what I'm going to do is it will be returning a list of chat. Yeah, and I'll mark it as the string. Makes sense. So if it is null, then we'll return this list view, and otherwise else what we will return, center, child, and our loader. So custom loader. Makes sense. And I'll format the code, and now only thing left is to pass a stream. So we need to pass a stream here. So where we make the stream inside our Firestore manager. So here we have get user charts, which return a query snapshot of map string, right? So this will return a snapshot. So what we will do is I will call this method Firestore manager. So these methods are not static, right? So I'll create a variable inside our home provider as Firestore manager is equals to Firestore manager. Makes sense? And then what I'll do inside the home page, I'll go down and I'll name it as provider dot manager dot, and here I can say get user chats. And what we'll do is that we'll change this from future to our stream, right? No need for this as well. So this is now our stream. So inside the home page, we are getting that stream query snapshot map string list dynamic. So what I'll do is I'll remove this thing from here, right? And now what we have to do is that data dot docs. So we'll get a list and then dot map e dot get, not get data. So this will now give us that a map. Now from this map we will use our chat model. So chat dot from JSON, right? And then dot to list. So we are mapping each of the data that we are getting and then changing that from a map to a chat model that we have made, right? So this will work. Now what we just need to do is that we don't have a from JSON is chat model, right? So I'll just create that as well. So here we have to make a factory method on chat dot from JSON, which will accept a map, and the map will be of string dynamic, and we will be getting some data. Now based on that we have to return chat. Now what will be user? So we'll be getting user dot from JSON. So let's just go, and so we'll be getting from users, and inside users, instead of using a where condition, I'll be using dot doc user ID, right? Dot collection, and then collections dot chats. Yeah. Now inside the chats, I'll be getting all of the snapshot documents that we have. So this is the right way to do this. And inside the chat model, we'll be having a user as a JSON. So we'll be getting a data user, right? Similarly, I'll do the chat type. So the chat type here is basically a enum. So it is message group. So data chat type is equals to message, then chat type dot message, otherwise chat type dot group. Makes sense? Last message, we'll be having another JSON for this thing. So here what we will do is we will say message dot from JSON data last message, and unread messages count. So count we will be getting regarding the unread messages as well. So I'll just change that integer value as well to this key and add a semicolon. Now inside our model, we just need to create a from JSON for now. So factory message dot from JSON, which will return a map string dynamic data, right? And here I'll be getting a message, and from the data here we will do like date time dot parse. So this will change the ISO string that we have and make it back, and I'll pass the date time. Makes sense. So now in the home page, it is accepting a user ID. So I'll pass from local db dot. So we have here is user logged in, set user. So now we have to assign a user as well. So similarly, is user logged in, I will copy this code and I will create a user. So basically get local db hive and dot to map, and it will return a type user dot from JSON. Correct. So let's just go and to the home page and change it to user dot uuid. So this user ID we will pass. So everything is set up, and hopefully let's see if everything works or not. I'll explain it again like how we made the entire process. So first, inside the Firestore manager, what we did is that stream we made for getting the user charts every time it is updated. So it is stored inside users, then that specific document, and then a chart, and then we have a snapshot, right? So it will be stored like that manner, and then this stream is called whenever the state is done and the data is not null. Then we'll fetch all of the charts from the JSON, and based on that we will show list, right? So that's it. So what I'll do is I'll simply going to run the app once and check if everything works perfectly fine or not. So I'll be navigating directly to the home page. Okay. Oh no, let me log in again. Request OTP. So it's verifying you're not a robot, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 and submit. And yeah, I am logged in now, and it's just loading here. So just this will come. So I'll add else if here, and our data dot connection state is equals to connection state dot, and we'll do waiting. So if it is waiting, then you will return this, otherwise return no data found widget. Okay, so we are getting no data found at the moment because there are no chats available right now. So here what I'll do, I'll wrap this first with the center. Okay. So no data found at the moment because we don't have any chats available, right? If you go in the console as well, you can see that for the user, and this is my user, Yash Makan. This is the phone that we entered. You can see that there is no chats here, right? Chats has to be added here. So it's successfully getting and fetching the data and telling us that there is no data available. So this part is working. Next, what we are going to do is that we are going to check and we are going to add a chat from our contacts. So as you can see, I have, okay, so contacts are not there. So let me just quickly add contact here. So contact I will add as, for example, person 8, and the phone number as 888888888. So 123 123 3, right? And hit save. So person 8 is saved here, right? I can refresh and person 8 I am getting. So on clicking this person 8, it should make a chat with them if the user person 8 is available, right? So let's just quickly do that now. So inside our contacts page, if you go in the contact page, you can see that we have list view builder, and this is our custom list tile, and on tab we have, right? And here I added comments that check if user exists in the DB. So we'll check. So we have already made that inside our Firestore manager. That's right. So what I will do is that first I'll clean up all of the code that we have here. So I'll inside our provider, I will go to the contact provider. So I'll create a new provider, contact provider, and all of the logical parts of class contact provider extends change notifier, right? So change notifier will be added from the material dot. Now we have our contact space. So all of this logic, this part will come here. Okay, so this will come from contact and make sense. I create one variable Firestore manager from the Firestore manager is equals to Firestore manager, and this manager that we have now, I'll go and manager dot provider dot manager dot now is user exist. Okay, so now I'm going to modify this code a bit. So here either you can pass phone number or you can pass UUID. Okay, and yeah,
if phone number is not equals to null and UUID equals to null. If both are null, just throw an error. So throw exception, phone number and UUID can't be null. UUID both can't be null. So yeah, else yeah. So here what I will do is that if phone number not equals to null, right, user snapshot, and if phone number or ID. So here I'll create UUID key is equals to UUID. So now we can check with phone number and UUID. Phone number is little bit like not that proper way. There can be spacing, there can be brackets, but UUID is the proper way to check if user exists or not. So now we are getting some errors. Let's just quickly fix those. So inside our auth provider, we were checking based on the phone number if it exists, and here we have to check with that only. And inside our contact list view, now we have an error, is user exists. So we'll check based on UUID and local db dot user dot UUID. Now dot then, and this value will be of type boolean. So I'll change it to exists. Okay. Now if exists, then what we will do is that we will fetch user and navigate to chat screen. Right, if the user exists, that they have installed the app and the user exists, then we will just navigate to chat screen with that particular user. Else what we will do, if the user does not exist, we will just show a prompt that user does not have app installed. Right, so user does not have app installed, so you cannot message them right now. So yeah, these two logic we have to write now. So in the next video, what we are going to do is that we are going to write the logic for fetching the user from backend and then navigating to the chat screen so that we can start a conversation with them. And once we start a conversation, then it should show that particular user on our homepage as well, so that we can see that chat. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, then make sure to like it. And if you have any doubts, then comment that as well. And make sure to share this videos with your friends as well. So that's it. And thank you so much. Have a nice day.